Greetings! Welcome to the SciFi Pubcast, the podcast that tries to be a pub, and perhaps someday a pub that tries to be a podcast. As always, we are looking for customers to come visit our bar. So if you're passionate about something, you want to be on a podcast, well, please let us know. This bar is all about community. If you want to help us out, please consider leaving a 5-star review wherever you find the show, joining our Discord server, and subscribing to our YouTube channel. My name is Joel. I'm the owner of the SciFi Pubcast, so to speak, and today we have our two regular staff members in, Carrie Simpson and Derek BB. Hi, guys.
Hey.
Hi.
Hey. So, we made it. This is the third time we're trying to get this down because of Skype issues, but we're quite happy. Skype. I don't think this is going to be a 5-star call. What do you think, Derek?
Well, I always leave 5 stars at the end of it because you say how important it is to leave a good rating for the podcast. So I did it anyway.
Yeah, man.
Maybe that was disingenuous.
Yeah, it doesn't work like that. But
I try to be positive,
At least you're making an attempt. That's something. And I appreciate that. Carrie.
All testers make the world go round.
Yeah. Carrie, how's life in Southern California? What's new in your world?
It's very, very hot. It's not quite too hot today. It's not supposed to be higher than, no, never mind. It is supposed to get to 90 again today, which I guess it could be worse.
Yeah, it could be.
It could be over 100.
It could be, having snow. That's very Canadian-like. But,
as much as I don't like snow, I wouldn't mind walking out into some snow and just, falling down for a while. But
yeah, there's.
Make sure it's not yellow.
Yeah.
Thank you, Derek.
Well, you're from California. You don't know these things.
I have been to the snow before, Derek.
I need a drink. Something strong. All right, Derek, how's life in the mountains of Pennsylvania?
Well, sadly, I was supposed to be going to Disney World a week from today, but I had to cancel at the last second because the Delta news just kept getting worse and worse in Florida.
I'm sorry to hear that. I hope the situation improves. I want to visit the States myself to visit family members, who I haven't seen in since December of 2019. So the borders are still closed with Canada and Mexico and the rest of the world. There's some loopholes, but it's a mess. It's just a complete mess. So I get it. And actually, funny enough, the last time I was in Disney World in Orlando or in Lake Buena Vista was December of 2019. So that's still on my to-do list. Yeah. And
it's funny how December 2019 kind of became like the end point of an entire era of life in so many ways.
Yeah. I wonder if future historians will use that as some sort of milestone or benchmark. Who knows?
Yeah. It'll be like that layer of they found in like rocks from where meteor impacts were like this is the before and then this is the after and then right in between is the
people got grown up and crushed. Yeah, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
We'll change our calendars to BR and AR before Rise of Skywalker, after Rise of Skywalker.
Oh, God.
The movie that changed everything.
No. We can still keep BC. Before COVID, after COVID.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's that. Oh, good. Well, I got nothing to do in my world. I'm living in London, Ontario, Canada now, so I'm getting ready for my PhD program in law at Western University. So I've been reading a lot of legal philosophy and science fiction, but mostly legal philosophy. What else? I saw the Jungle Cruise movie about a week and a half ago. I really enjoyed the Jungle Cruise movie. I thought it was entertaining and very well written. And I grew up on the attraction. Don't call it a ride. It's an attraction, right? And so I really love my puns. I think one of the reasons I have this love for puns is because of the Jungle Cruise ride. So I blame Walt Disney, personally, and my parents. Mm-hmm. So there's that.
Well, I will say that the movie was very, very good, although the backside of water is much more impressive on the attraction.
But we're
Yeah,
not.
I enjoyed the movie a lot too. I mean, it definitely wasn't terribly original. It was basically like Pirates and the Mummy in a blender, but I had a lot of fun. It was a good time.
Yeah. I like the fact there was actually some plot twists, which we won't spoil it right now, but
Yeah, I
uh,
didn't see that coming at all.
yeah, so because it's just not the typical cliche adventure movie, and there was a lot of nods to the Mummy movies, but also Indiana Jones, and also to the ride itself or the track itself in the Disney
Mhm.
parks.
Well, I saw a lot of comparisons to the Mummy.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And well, we're not here to talk about the Jungle Cruise. We should have, but we didn't. We're here to talk about the Suicide Squad. So we're not joking around today, so to speak. Get it?
Mm.
Jokering? Oh, God, I kill myself.
Uh-huh. He's not in this one.
Thankfully. So, of course, this is different from Suicide Squad, which was the one before. This is The Suicide Squad, and it's directed by
Yes.
James Gunn and released by Warner Brothers Pictures. And now it stars, and I'm going to butcher some of the pronunciations. I've been practicing, so hopefully it won't be too bad. It stars Margot Robbie, Idris Elba, John Cena, Joel Kinnaman, Sylvester Stallone. I got that one right, hopefully. Viola Davis, and Peter Capaldi. So, how's that?
Yeah.
That's
Yay!
a third of the cast. Yes.
Yes. That's.
But
Yeah.
what
Well,
but what a
third of
cast!
well, a third of the and half of the cast that survived. So.
Yeah, speaking of which, we're talking spoilers. So if you haven't seen the new movie that got released about a week and a half ago, right? Yeah, hit the stop button on this podcast, go see the movie, and come back. So, spoiler alert, we're talking spoilers. There we go. So, guys, what's your first impressions of this film? Let's go with Carrie first. She's a DC person. If you want to categorize yourself as a DC person.
I love this. I love this movie. I was kind of shocked that most of the cast died in like the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not at all shocked that Waller would use that many minor supervillains as cannon fodder, but
Yeah.
that was great. And they've made Starro relevant again, which is also fun.
Oh, yeah. That was such a great bad guy villain, right? So amazing. What's your first take, Derek? First impression?
I really love the movie. It was really funny, great action, looked really expensive. I loved all the characters and all the costumes and everything. It exceeded my expectations, and I was really looking forward to it. This was basically the number one reason I got HBO Max for this year, for all the free straight to video theater experiences. This was the number one movie for that.
Okay, good. I'm happy you guys enjoyed it. I'm kind of sick of superhero movies. I hate to say this, but I thought this was actually a fairly decent superhero movie, or super villain movie, to be more accurate. And I like this one much more than the first Suicide Squad, and more than Birds of Prey. And I like Harley Quinn as a character, and I think Margot Robbie portrayal of her is amazing. But I think humor works, and in this movie, The Suicide Squad, there's a lot of humor. There's a lot of gore, but there's also a lot of humor.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah. Like just
What did you not like about it, though?
it's cliche now. I think, Derek. I think I'm just oversaturated with this stuff, right? It's like Star Wars films, right? You get to a point where you just need to back off before you can go and enjoy it again, because they've done almost everything they can with superhero movies, right? In the sense of deconstructing the meanings and the tropes and yeah, but then again, right, it goes to different generations. So if you're younger, you probably love this a lot more than I do, because I've been around forever, right? Because I'm an older guy. I hate to say this. Yeah. Like, I remember going to kids to watch the first Superman movie. I'm that old. You know? Yeah.
Do we all have to get off your lawn now, Joel?
Yeah, pretty much so. And
Okay.
leave some money so I can pay someone to do my grass. Okay. Yeah. So there's that. But actually, I quite enjoy the humor. The fact that, yeah, Star Wars the Conqueror made an appearance as the big bad guy, just like a video game. I think that's classic. Like, these spoofs, like, I think there's some parallels with Deadpool, especially Deadpool 2, right? where these obscure bad guys make an appearance, and it's just these types of bad like villains who are doesn't make much sense, but fans love them anyways.
My only issue with Starro, or the way they did Starro, is the general conceit of Starro is that you have to get all of it.
Yeah.
It's kind of like kudzu.
Ah, okay, I see.
Or something like that. It's like if you leave even one
fishy
time, if you leave even one speck of Starro alive, it will come back. So the fact that they didn't like completely incinerate Starro and all of its offspring at the end of the movie is like, well, there's the sequel right there.
Yeah, I was thinking that myself, right? Starro's going to come back even stronger than before.
Mm-hmm.
He has this ability to stick to it all the time, right?
Well, there's apparently a point in the comics where it basically covers like most of Europe.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So the good parts or the bad parts? There's a Canada. I of course there's all good parts. What am I saying? Yeah. There's that. Hey, speaking of Europe, what did you make of Idris Elba's American accent? Because that took me back to his days playing Stinger Bell from the Wire on HBO.
It worked.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice if he had an American or British accent. I didn't even notice.
So in the bar scene, he really played up his American accent.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's cool when the army showed up to try to arrest all the Americans, and they played the ugly Americans. It's great. So, and I keep on using the term "bad guys," which is problematic considering this is the Suicide Squad, right?
Well, they are supposed to be, irredeemable criminals, or at least in the minds of people like Amanda Waller, who has, questionable ethics to begin with. So,
yeah, this is actually, on the surface of it's a fun superhero genre movie, but there's a lot going on in terms of the theming, right? It's really one of control. Of being controlled by others, right? And you see that with the Waller character controlling, those bad folks, right? But you see it in Corto Maltese with the experiments they're doing in this large tower, which is called what? Jotunheim?
Jotunheim.
yeah.
You see that with Star Wars: The Conqueror with his ability to control people like zombies, right? So this entire movie is one of control. You said that with
I don't remember Starro eating off people's faces too. So
yeah. Well, maybe you just grew into it. I don't know, but you can see that in terms of the prison motif and being free, right? Or being right. Yeah, you have the big prison at the beginning of it, which is your trope of the Suicide Squad. But there's also Harley Quinn when she was taken as a prisoner, right? And the torture scene, right? Okay, and who's really controlling that one? So, yeah. Speaking about Harley, she found love briefly. That makes me smile.
2 minutes.
I don't know that she necessarily fell in love. I think, she's not the sanest person in the world.
Yeah, so
Sorry, my camera keeps changing. Weird. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, lots of tech issues. So be it. Yeah, we're talking about DC stuff, so yeah, makes sense.
Hey.
We're talking the DCEU, so strange hiccups should be expected.
Hey.
Hey. Yeah, going back to Harley Quinn, I think she's back in the market, so to speak. So I think she deserves another movie in this universe.
Agreed. I think Margot Robbie's been campaigning for Gotham Sirens, and she's also been campaigning for something involving her, Harley and Ivy. So
That would be
Well,
excellent.
isn't Ivy one of the Gotham City Sirens?
Yeah, but it
Yeah,
doesn't necessarily have to be a Gotham City Sirens movie.
yeah,
It
that's
could
true.
be just, Harley and Ivy, doing a Thelma and Louise type thing or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm sure they're going to do more Harley Quinn movies. She's a very popular character. She's basically DC's Deadpool, and I mean I'm sure there's some people who don't like her, but she seems to be a pretty universally popular character in my experience.
Hmm.
Aside from perhaps some misogynist individuals, but
Yeah,
Hmm.
and she's young enough. Margot Robbie could play her for another 20 years easily, in my opinion. So
Oh,
Mhm.
great.
yeah, so there's that. And of course, speaking of Harley Quinn, what's with all the birds? There was lots of birds in this movie.
The
because birds
the
represent freedom,
the
they can
dictator
fly
likes
away.
the
Mm.
dictator likes birds.
Yeah, but there was also the bird in the opening scene with what's his name, right? Okay, we got killed with
Oh
this
yeah, that
lady.
was hilarious.
And
Not the bird getting
what
killed,
was
but
his
the
name?
bird eating his brains.
Savant.
So yeah,
Savant.
right,
Yeah.
yeah. So there's that, and like was it a Bird of Prey reference? It's kind of speaks to the whole Harley Quinn getting over a nasty bad relationship with her former boyfriend and developing the self-esteem to to be happy by herself, so to speak. I'm reading a lot of things into this, but and then there's of course the cage bird metaphor, right? With this dictator, presidente, and all of that, and yeah, and then well, the shark guy, played by Sylvester Stallone. What's his name again?
King
And
Shark.
that way,
Yeah, yeah. He points
Shark
out
King Shark.
birds when you see birds right on the radio, right? Okay, bird. Yeah, yeah. Love that.
Also, when Harley is fighting her way free of the palace in the cartoon sequence, there's little cartoon birds flying around.
Yeah, yeah. So that's a great juxtaposition, I
Mhm.
think.
That was a
Well, I
really
think
cool scene, and it makes me wonder: are they implying that that's what Harley always sees when she's doing ultra violence? Is she always seeing like these cute little cartoons playing everywhere?
Yeah, maybe. Who
I don't know.
knows?
I think she was still. I think she still might have been on something at that point.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, I watched the 2017 movie last night in preparation for this, and at one point, I think when they first see the weird CGI soldiers, she kind of says to them, like, "Are you seeing this too? I thought it was just me." So, like, maybe she does constantly hallucinate weird things.
Yeah, there's that. Plus, the music was in her head, right? It's not in the
Yeah.
background, like sometimes is the case, right? So it's what they're thinking as opposed to what we as the viewer thinks of the person. So because I forgot what song was played when she was going through that sequence with the birds. I like the fact there's a new term for that. It's a term that I was not aware of. It's called needle drops. So when there's music that comes into a movie and it has meaning
Mhm.
because of the music itself, either within the character's mind or within the viewer's mind, it's called a needle drop. Who knew?
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah. See, I'm with it. I'm with it. I'm so 2019. Yeah. What
Oh, by
else?
the way,
Yeah.
I noticed a funny thing when I was watching the original Suicide Squad movie. Harley Quinn isn't always like bleach white in it. Like that's actually a makeup that she puts on in the movie.
Hmm.
Because like when you first meet her in prison, she has like normal skin tone. Whereas in this movie, she's just like bleach white constantly, like from the acid bath or something.
Yeah. But then
She's pale.
yeah. She needs a tan. I don't know. Yeah. Come on, the character, the actors from Australia. Think about that. Let's say that. uh, she's also got makeup done in this movie, right? Before she's taken to the dictator or the presidente, I
Hmm.
should say. Yeah. A nice red dress, which is good. You know, I wish if I get captured by really bad people that they treat me and wine and dine me too. That'd be good. You know. Yeah. And
What being wined and dined before they kill you? That I don't know.
yeah, yeah, I don't know. I need to live a more adventurous life, so I'm open up to possibilities. See, yeah, I'm a free soul now, free spirit.
Hmm. Right.
Any which way, what else? What are some other themes you guys pick up on?
I again, I was kind of surprised that I knew that there was going to be a lot of death in the movie, and I knew that they were basically saying don't get attached to anyone. I was surprised at how many people got killed, and I was actually kind of surprised that so many of the characters made it out alive.
Yeah, yeah. I like the fact that we see Weasel being set up as his comedy relief, and then of course the way he went down, and then the post-credit scene afterwards, right? So,
Yes.
what did you guys make of Weasel, and a werewolf slash myling dog? Yeah.
He's barely in the movie, so there's not much to make of him. I wonder, given that was Sean Gunn, I wonder if there was a can I kill my brother? Do I not kill my brother?
Mm.
Is this a psychological thing that James Gunn was trying to deal with, work through, whatever?
Maybe the thing with the polka dot man having to visualize killing his mother over and over is just, a substitution for him.
Yeah, yeah. I think that they're saving Weasel for his own standalone movie, so that'd be great.
Or he's going to show up on Peacemaker.
Oh, definitely. Okay. Speaking of which, yes, we're going to get a spin-off on HBO Max dealing with Peacemaker. So
Yes.
I think it's something like 6 episodes, and that's happening. They filmed it in Vancouver, and so what do you guys make of that?
Well, that was one of the characters I was not surprised that they kept him around, because I knew about the spin-off show. Although apparently James Gunn keeps saying that they are not making a season 2 because John Cena won't give back the costume.
Yeah, that's fabulous. I love that. And John Cena, he played him perfectly, I think. His motivations from a character point of view, right? Peacemakers above all, right? Okay. Yeah, he's a bad guy because he's so black and white. There's no room for gray or matter of degrees. And he's very much represents what's wrong, in my opinion at least, of America, right? There's the lack of tolerance, the lack of empathy, and just this black and white version of the American identity. So
I also love that he had a completely ridiculous costume straight out of the comic books that he wore all the way through. I love it when they're not afraid to put something on screen even if it looks silly, because to me that just looks cool.
Yeah, we're getting more silly costumes in comic book movies nowadays. This age of real zeitgeist is gone. It's been a while since we saw Logan, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gritty, right? It's not gritty anymore. It's now getting back to being more comical. So, yeah, comical. That's kind of like a pun.
Well, I think they've kind of proven that comic book movies can be both. Like, you don't have to. The comic book movies don't necessarily have to be all campy and over the top. They can be deep and serious, and deal with some like serious issues.
Yeah, I think that's
and
right.
a movie like this does a great job of doing both at the same time, because as silly and goofy as it is, it's about a bunch of fundamentally damaged, traumatized people. I mean, like, look at Ratcatcher 2. Her dad raised her in a sewer with rats and died of a heroin overdose. That's pretty dark stuff to have in between the jokes.
Yeah, and it's Ratcatcher 2, the way she actually persuades the other characters to do stuff as opposed to coercing them through violence or through control, right? She actually persuades them, right? She becomes the shark guy's friend. Again, the shark. What's a shark guy?
King Shark.
No,
King Shark.
King Shark.
King Shark. There you go.
King Shark or Nanawe.
Yeah. So that's really interesting in the sense that, rats. We always look down upon rats, but in this movie, at least, it's the rats that saved humanity, or at least Cordo Maltese.
Did anyone else find it a tad unrealistic that she was able to summon that many rats at the end of the movie?
No.
That quickly?
No.
Because because that was a lot of rats.
Yeah, but I think just it plays with the stereotypes of slums and ghettos, especially in South America. Not to mention that there's jungle, right? So rats live in jungles as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's
What I don't get is why Waller was so determined to make them leave when Starro's not gonna stop with an island, right?
Yeah, that
yeah,
didn't make sense to me because like he's gonna take over the island, possess everyone there, and then he's gonna like move on to the mainland. You gotta
Exactly.
stop him before he grows an army.
Exactly.
yeah, but she probably had knowledge of the Justice League or Superman, all of that, and she's looking at it from through the lens of a U.S. foreign policy perspective, where you keep any countries really, but in this case it's the U.S., where you keep your enemies weak and weak and frustrated, right? In order
But
to deny them the ability to strike your shores. Go ahead.
they didn't really. I don't know if this is something they changed about Starro's character. Starro has a bad habit of when it takes over someone, it takes over any abilities that person has,
Mm.
which is why they typically do not send the Justice League after Starro.
Ah, okay, that makes sense. Good point.
So it actually makes sense that they did send the Suicide Squad after Starro because these are expendable people who don't if they have powers at all, they're weird powers and they're powers that they don't always control.
Yeah. What did you guys make of Thinker, played by Peter Capaldi?
Loved him.
I loved it. It was great.
I thought he was underused, and the fact that he just showed up at the bar and the Americans were in the bar at the same time, that was a bit of a stretch. Unless
Well,
he,
Well,
that was just
they specifically went there to get him. They said
yeah,
at the
yeah.
beginning of the
yeah,
movie, "This is the bar he goes to."
yeah. So
But
that
yeah, I
makes
loved
sense.
it. I mean, like obviously, I love Capaldi in anything. He was great as Doctor Who, so it was wonderful to see him, chewing the scenery for a while. But hey, I mean, it's a movie that stars 30 people, so he can only be in it for so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah, yeah. Great Doctor Who. He also starred in the thick of it. So if you know your
Yeah,
British
he's great
companies,
in that.
amazing. So yeah. All right. Any other thoughts about the Suicide Squad before we close our doors?
My favorite gag was when they go through this whole sequence of infiltrating the enemy camp and killing everyone, only to find out that it was the good guys.
Oh, come on. You did Waller didn't know exactly who she was sending the A squad to go deal with.
Yeah. I love the scene where you have someone on a structure in the hospital tent, and the John Cena character, Peacemaker, they stab him like 18 times just walking past. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's great.
Oh,
Oh
and
yeah,
just
yeah, I just saw that scene. He just casually is like without even
well,
looking.
just for as much as they really did not get along, the teamwork between Peacemaker and Bloodsport was just like, okay, yeah, they each know what their tasks are.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh wait, I have a new favorite joke. When Bloodshot is talking to his daughter in the prison cell,
Bloodsport.
and they're arguing about like she stole a TV phone, and he's like, "I'm mad because you stole a TV phone," and she just screams at him, "It does other things."
Oh, dear Lord. All right. Anything else, guys?
I would like to know what you guys thought of the original 2017 movie.
I really like the extended cut of that movie. I liked the original when I saw it in the theaters. Really like the extended cut. I would love to see what David Ayer's original cut was because apparently it does exist.
Yeah.
And it just needs at this point it's kind of on Warner Brothers to release it.
Yeah. My take, Derek, I only saw it once when it came out, was that it was just, it was okay. It was cheap entertainment, nothing special, at least in my eyes. But I think the extended cut would be much better. I think it was just very, I don't know, generic and not special.
Yeah, I mean, I like it, but it definitely has problems. I watched it again last night, and I like the characters. It's fun and everything. It is unfortunate that they're just fighting a disposable CGI army in a sky beam because that became such a cliche after, so many movies did that. Ayer said that in retrospect, he wished he had just had them go after the Joker, and that would have been a much more interesting movie.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, obviously there would have been like a power problem, but maybe the Joker had like, some superpowered henchmen or something. And apparently a lot of people hate Jared Leto as the Joker. I certainly don't care for him off the screen, but I thought he made a good Joker. I mean, obviously it's not the traditional Joker. It's this kind of like weird gangster version. And aside from the dumb tattoos and the metal teeth, I thought it was like a very interesting villainous performance and interesting voice. It was certainly something different because, there's been so many different versions of the Joker, and I thought it was a valid interpretation, and I would have been interested to have seen more. Not so much that little scene in Zack Snyder's Justice League, but if they had done that movie just about going after the Joker, I think that would have been very interesting. So another funny thing I noticed about the movie watching it last night is that they introduced the characters 3 times over. They introduced them in prison, and then Waller gives their flashback backstory, and then they introduce them again when they all meet each other. So it's like they felt like, okay, these audiences can't follow who these people are. We need to tell them 3 different times who everybody is.
Yeah, that's just silly. It's like the monster of the week, but we have like 18 different monsters. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I like the movie, but it definitely has problems. I definitely think The Suicide Squad was a much better movie overall. It was so much fun. It was so funny. My only minor nit is that for the vast majority of the movie, they're just fighting soldiers, and I wanted to see them fighting people with superpowers. But having Starro at the end was very cool. I knew just because James Gunn was making the movie that I was going to love it. But I was kind of wondering, like, well, who are they going to fight? Like, what is the actual plot going to be? And then they finally had a teaser trailer that showed a massive Starro, and I was so geeked out by that because it's just one of those completely bizarre, insane, ridiculous comic book concepts that you didn't ever think you would see in a major movie, but he went for it.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
All right. Good thoughts. Good discussion. Let's do it again very soon. Yes. Always scheduling issues and COVID and the summertime, but yeah, this show's sticking around, right? It is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it is.
So this show is released as a podcast. It's on YouTube. Subscribe today and check out our Discord. It's a great source of news and discussion. Sometimes.
Give 5 stars.
Sometimes, yeah. You can find our Discord server invites on our social media, which is, of course, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. I do the Twitter and Instagram, whereas Derek does the Facebook page. Derek, you're doing a great job, man.
Thank you.
There you go. Our information, well, you can send us an email at management@scifipubcast.space. I love getting spam email. I mean, yeah, that's where I usually get lots of spam. But yeah, if you want to get in touch with us by email, that's the best way. Carrie, what is your Twitter address?
My Twitter handle is Carrie Blackfire42. That's Keri Blackfire42.
And what other podcasts are you on?
I am on the Cape Chronicles, Enter the Dojo, and DC Talk, where we have been doing character profiles on some of the characters who showed up in Suicide Squad, among other things. So you can check that out.
That's fantastic. Great. And that's on the Venom Chatter Network, right?
Yes, it is.
Great. Derek, what's your Twitter address, sir?
I am at Derek J. Beebe.
Great. And my Twitter address is at Joel_Welch. WELCH. It's closing time. Take care, and please make it home safe. We'll see you next time. Bye now.
Bye. 5 stars.
Music provided courtesy of Logan Rathbone. Podcast logo by Duran. Copyrighted Joe Welch. Listen responsibly, and we can't wait for your next visit to our fine establishment. Cheers.